Hi, welcome to the Ann Leighton Inclusion Interview Show, where we talk about the difference between kindness and cruelty with an emphasis on kindness. Today, we're going to be talking about collaboration and timeless rock music with two guests, as you can see. Both are artists I've worked with. First is Tom Ciurczak, a rock singer-songwriter with a great album called Yorick. Hi, Tom. How are you?
Hi, Ann.
Hi. And our feature interview is Mark Andes, who I met when I was working with Firefall and he was playing bass. Hi, Mark. How are you?
Hi, Anne. Really well. How are you?
I'm good and hanging in there. Mark's history will definitely be revealed as Tom's going to be starting most of the questions about music history, and I'll ask about the wisdom gained in relationships. I want Mark to know that one of Tom's early rock and roll memories as a kid growing up at West Point, and in 1972, he saw Spirit on a bill.
I think he was gone by then with Jo Jo Gunne.
Were you?
I
And
think I think he left in '71 to go join Jo Jo Gunne.
I that could be. Jay and I formed Jo Jo Gunne together, and we left at the same time. Yeah, but that could be.
It was
I thought it
it
was
was
later, but I don't
you
know.
would never forget it because it was in a torrential downpour, and it was a festival for sickle cell anemia that the black cadets at West Point, which there's only a few of them at the time, put together, and it was with Stevie Wonder, little Stevie Wonder at the time, before he went to tour with the Stones later that year. An Ike and Tina Turner review, who had just come out with some of their stuff, and they were phenomenal. And Supremes minus Diana Ross, and it opened the show with Spirit, so it was a really interesting counter programming type of thing. But I got there towards the end of when Spirit was playing because the place was raining like crazy, and and I was like, wow, I wonder if Mark was at that show.
Well, now that you mentioned who was on the bill, I don't recall that. So I could have Jay and I could have been already putting
I
Jo Jo
looked,
Gunne together.
yeah, I looked it up, and it looked like you guys left for Jo Jo Gunne in '71.
Hmm.
So I mean, I was first huge fan of Spirit.
Oh,
I
yeah.
must have wore the grooves out of Dr. Sardonicus,
Mhm.
which I think everybody was like not so happy with, but I thought it was a great album. And, with time, it's become even more of a classic album. But, I was starting to ask before we started this about, when you got started, and I thought that even, in your early days that you knew some of these guys going all the way back to high school, like Barry, uh, who became Dr. Demento, and Jay Ferguson, who wound up in Spirit. You guys have a long history together.
Well, we do. We at junior high school, Jay and I go back, and then during when Jay went to UCLA, that's where we met Barry, and I guess the Barry thing goes back to the Ash Grove, uh, but he was very instrumental in helping me get started because once um, it became clear that Cass and Randy were going to go to New York and do that whole uh, episode of their history, Barry helped put me together with Canned Heat, and that's how that developed. So Barry, uh, Jay and John Locke and I had the Yellow House in Topanga, which was amazing to be a part of. So yeah, Barry was in there early on as well.
Wow, it's just amazing how all those connections happened way, way, way back when.
Yes,
And
sir.
then it's funny. I was reading about Randy California, right? And how he got his nickname, right? And the story is that Jimi Hendrix gave him the name Randy California. But what I thought was funny, and maybe you know this, maybe you don't, I have no idea, is that I guess there was two Randys in the band, and so the way that Jimi Hendrix distinguished between the two, he called one Randy California and the other guy Randy Texas.
Yeah.
I'm I'm not quite sure what happened to Randy Texas.
I might have played with him while I've been here. I don't know.
But the Spirit band was like, man. And I heard, I read that the first single, Mechanical World, was it, that you had brought and written that, and you weren't crazy about it, but they were like, this is a great song, we got to do this song.
Yeah, yeah. I wrote the music to it, and I liked the music, but I never saw that as a single. But I think that was the whole point of Lou Adler, was he didn't either, and he just thought that, well, we'll just put the album out there, and we'll see what takes off in which location. And in Miami, uh, uh, Mechanical World started to get some airplay, some radio play, and started to sell records. So we went there and promoted it, but there was never any follow up. We didn't do a regional thing. So the Spirit had the disadvantage of not really having a very unified approach to marketing and promotion. It was just a random thing, and we had that song, Mechanical World, big in Florida for a minute, and then it
That
didn't. We never
was
followed it up with anything really.
that was such a fantastic song. And the thing that I was really impressed, because they didn't really have all of the like the foot pedals and the gimmicks and stuff that you have today, was the sustain that Randy was able to get out of his guitar on that solo there. I was like, I have no idea how he's doing that, but that's amazing, because
Yeah.
there's a great solo in that song.
Oh yeah, yeah. Randy was he was always a tone guy, and he had one of those little orange squeezers, those little Boss little box things, and he was very into the sound of his guitar. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. You get to that level and they become tone masters. They all are crazy about what tones are they able to get out of the guitar.
Was there
Randy was.
go on.
Well, I was just going to say Randy was one of those guys. He was a tone guy. What are you going to say, Ann?
Was there management or a label that Spirit was working with, and why didn't they put their foot down and say, "Come on, let's build this," or something like that?
Well, yes, it was Lou Adler, who was the producer manager guy, and you're right. He would have been the guy, but he didn't. And
He,
And
mhm.
that's amazing, because Lou Adler was like super famous for so many people.
exactly, exactly. And
Yeah,
you would have thought, but I don't know. There was some I don't know. There was some odd stuff, and
you were supposed to play both Monterey Pop and Woodstock. What happened?
I don't think we were ever supposed to play Monterey. We kind of questioned uh, that. I mean, we
The,
kind of,
the internet
at
says you were
least
supposed.
amongst ourselves, went, God, it would have been because we were just starting to get going, and that first record was
Same
probably just
year.
being recorded at that time. And we went to a party with Mama Cassis, and we were going, God, we should have been involved in that. We never, I don't think we ever really knew about um, Woodstock. In fact, we were doing uh, some of those big outdoor venues on the East Coast during that time, but I don't know that we ever got invited to play, or whether we even asked
The
to be.
internet said of course, AI is garbage in, garbage out. You guys got a song called Fresh Garbage. Any, anyways, it's said that you were supposed to do Monterey Pop, you didn't, and you were supposed to do Woodstock just before Jimmy. You were supposed to be the band just before Jimi Hendrix, and for whatever reason, you guys got pulled at the last minute. And I'm like, well, there's
Yeah,
a story. What happened there?
but I think that's uh, not a legit story, to be honest. I never, we never heard that we were possibly going to play Woodstock, or especially the time slot about when we would have played.
They
So
they literally
fake
mentioned
news.
that, but AI is garbage in, garbage out. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
I'm not
funnel
taking it
info.
personally.
I hear
And
you. Yeah, I just did a quick overview because I felt like I heard about Lou Adler in the news, and he was also instrumental in the Rocky Horror Picture Show
yeah,
later on in the 1970s. So 50 years ago, 1975.
Yeah. Yeah.
he was Cheech and Chong. He was all kinds of people.
Oh, Carole King.
Yeah,
I mean,
everybody. I mean,
I remember meeting Carol in Lou's house as they were putting together the whole arrangement to create Tapestry. So yeah, he was a major player for sure.
Maybe his
absolutely.
strength was being an idea man as opposed to rolling up his sleeves and making things happen and delegating to other folks to do things. I don't know that he managed Carole King as much as he produced her.
Right. I think
So
you're right there. I
She came from the Brill Building. She was pretty well
connect.
established as a songwriter before.
Yeah.
yeah.
The but you left, something happened at Spirit, and I think Randy went off and he did his Captain Copter solo album, and you and Jay uh left and went to Jo Jo Gunne. Well, what was the impetus? What happened there?
During the recording of the 12 Dreams, Randy, we were supposed to go to tour Japan. During that process, we were just about finished with the recording, and Randy, who had injured himself, fallen off a horse, had some medical stuff that he recovered from. It was kind of complicated there for a while, but when Randy started to kind of um, selectively not want to do tours that we had planned on and had booked and spent money on, it was obvious to me that I instead of, and I kind of, this is one of my regrets, to be honest. If we're going to lay the cards out, I'll tell you one of my regrets is that I didn't want to work with Randy and realize that he was off. He was not. He wasn't thinking properly, and had I had more maturity, I think maybe I wouldn't have just wanted to withdraw. But what I did was withdraw, and I told Jay, I said, "Man, I can't be in a band with Randy, who's just going to, cancel a tour the night before we were to leave." I mean, literally the night. I mean, I had my bag packed and ready to go, and we got a call late that night that we were the night before we were to leave, that Randy was not going to go to Japan. So I thought, oh, okay, this is not working for me, which I should have acknowledged and dealt with, but then maybe tried to resolve it with Randy instead of just walking away. But I walked away, and
It was
Jay
hard. Yeah, sorry.
came with. I'm sorry, I kind of tagged this on, but we had a plan to put a band together, he and I, and that resulted in Jo Jo Gunne. We kind of had our, we knew we'd kind of outlined what we wanted to do in the next band, and that was we kind of blueprinted Jo Jo Gunne out. So that's kind of how that came to be.
I was
Yeah,
going to say it's sometimes hard to um, resolve these situations because sometimes the person just doesn't want to, is just a little flaky and won't change. And I think Randy has a great musical legacy, but you're not the only one that said interesting things about him in
Yeah,
that regard.
the interesting thing about Randy and my relationship was that we always remained close, even though that we stopped being in the band together. Farther along was another Spirit record that I was involved. Recorded many albums with Randy after that, so we stayed connected. But Randy had he had some um, interesting ideas, and he had to be in control. But it was difficult for me to let him be in control all the time.
I, I
well,
understand.
I had read that there was also a little bit more of like you were more of a rocker, Jay was more of a rocker, but you had, the other guys in the band, there was a lot more jazz, fusion, psychedelic, directions they wanted to go in versus the direction you and Jay wanted to go in.
Well, that's close to the truth. Excuse me. I was the kind of the rocker guy. Jay was actually one of the folk guys. He and Michael Fondelier and uh, some guys had and Mike Jay's brother was a great fiddle player. They had the Oat Hill Stump Straddlers were there. They were like a folk band. So Jay was kind of a folk guy. I was the rock guy. Randy kind of had this bluesy, uh, uh, kind of strong. What am I trying to say? He came from a blues background. John Locke was and Cass were both jazz guys, so you could
That's right.
see
Okay.
the recipe was sort of cast with the characters involved, and then we all merged into each other's musics.
And I saw, back at that time in all these different, I looked at all the different places you played in California. I recognized so many of them in Southern California, but it said that, you played with, Spirit played with the Byrds, with the Stones, with Led Zeppelin, with Steppenwolf, Janis Joplin. Got any good stories from any of those shows with those guys?
Oh, yeah, well, sure, yes, of course, yeah. Um, the They were all so. It was such a natural kind of environment. I remember going to a CBS convention in Puerto Rico. It was all the CBS acts, and Janice came down to the pool, and she was wearing this really skimpy little bikini with handprints and off the street. It was like a regular bikini, but she was hilarious. She was such a down to earth girl, and uh, oh God, Santana was there, and so yeah, we played all those gigs, man.
I mean, it's like you used to play the Golden Bear down at Huntington Beach down here
Oh,
and
wow.
all kind of those places.
well, Randy's uncle was the owner of the Ash Grove, so that was
Right.
major art folk places. So in LA, but yeah, we played the first show that it was a Vanilla Fudge show in Denver, and Led Zeppelin opened the show, and Spirit played the second middle slot, and yeah, Vanilla Fudge closed the show. So I played Led Zeppelin's first show in the United States.
Yeah, everybody knows the Zeppelin story as it connects to Spirit. And
Yeah.
I understand that's still an ongoing story. It hasn't closed yet.
Well, I think I don't know. I mean, I'm not aware of it. Kind of. I know that when the
This,
decision.
I mean, this Taurus versus Stairway to the Heaven story is still, I heard it's under appeal. It's still ongoing.
Okay, I was unaware of that, but the disadvantage we had in that particular court cases was that the jury never was able to hear Spirit's version of it. Was the intro to our
Stairway,
huh?
Stairway and Taurus.
Well, yes. So it was just the beginning of the Taurus. So if we had been able to play that little bit of music, I think the jurors could have really realized, oh my God, this is sounds very very close. But we only were able to produce what they called it was some uh, weird what do they call it? It was some kind of a master, but to get the copyright, it was a messed up deal. But anyway, the the jury could not hear our version of Taurus. So that's, I think, it was decided the way it was, which is okay.
Fascinating.
I just wanted Randy's. the reason I was for all that was that I wanted Randy's side of the story to be at least told, and it that happened. So um, I feel good about that whole thing, you know.
But I
That
mean, go ahead.
yeah, that helps. At least that, if Randy's side of the story was heard. I do wish it's interesting to hear that the music wasn't allowed to be played, and I'm sorry about that.
Yeah,
Legal
it,
lines.
you would have, you would have thought that if the playing field was going to be really, because Led Zeppelin got to play their version. I mean,
Yeah. They always play their version.
well, yeah,
We always hear their version.
but that's okay, you know. It's
And you had Steppenwolf and John Kay. You played with them, and it's phenomenal. The Stone. I mean, what a world it was back in those days.
yes, sir, yes, sir. God, the Buffalo Springfield. We
Oh, you played with Buffalo Spring. Oh, my goodness.
it was
Nice.
it was just, and of course, well, Firefall played with um,
All the Buffalo Springfield history.
yeah, we yes, what a
Coco.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all interwoven. I was reading even when, you were working with what Dan Fogelberg, you had Timothy B. Schmidt, and you were trading off on different tracks on bass and stuff like that. So it's all interwoven. And I read so you went to Jo Jo Gunne after Spirit and all this happened, and you signed with Geffen Records.
Right.
And you're like the number two band that signs with Geffen. Or the number one. The I'm never sure because I see from but they had
Jackson Brown, I think.
Jackson Brown was first, and number three was the Eagles.
Oh yeah, that's right. They were yes,
So
yeah.
I'm like, what a threesome to sign with Geffen, and what a big, different in terms of management and management style. I mean,
Yeah.
how was it working for Geffen as opposed to Lou Adler?
Well, in a way, kind of similar because they were both big, kind of um, business guys, and neither one of them really got into the uh, creative aspects of management, really. And the funny thing is, with Jo Jo Gunne, it took a long time finding the right drummer. My brother was on board. We rehearsed and we rehearsed and we rehearsed, and finally got the record out. Had Run 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 was a kind of a medium hit, and they fired me in the first tour.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
read.
My own band fired me, and so I got back home and packed my stuff up out of Topanga Canyon and knew one family in Colorado, and I just picked up and moved to Colorado. I didn't talk to those guys, even my brother, for years after that. And
You d-
yeah,
yeah. You
and
didn't look back.
no, no, no. And I didn't really know, I really didn't know what was in store, but I just had to get out of Topanga, that's for sure. And
Is that when you met up with Dan Fogelberg?
well, yes, indirectly. I was able to, once we got money going, I was able to get my finances together with a little help from my father. We bought a little house, South Beaver Creek Road, up near the oh in Nederland, Colorado, close to Caribou Ranch, kind of.
Mhm.
And my neighbor up the hill was Chris Hillman, and who I'd known Chris
Really?
when he was in the Birds. I had a friend, and he had a girlfriend, and our girlfriends were best friends. So he and I had known each other since the LA days. But he was my neighbor, and Dan Fogelberg bought his house. So he and I were neighbors in Colorado. It was crazy. I mean, we're talking,
Wow.
yes,
You
random,
went from like one scene where everybody was neighbors up in Topanga,
correct.
They're all musicians moving to the same type of neighborhood up in Colorado.
Yes, I had to get out of Topanga, which everybody in LA wanted to be involved with, and just got my butt to Colorado. And that was where everybody else wanted to move
It
to.
became the center of the universe. Didn't Joe Walsh move out there at the same time?
Heck yeah. And Stills and all those guys. Everybody from Topanga moved to Colorado. Right. It was a crazy time. Yeah. There you have it.
That's fantastic. Well, I read that you did a long stint, and then Firefall happened.
Right. Firefall actually, we were playing in Chris Hillman's band. It was Jock Bartley, Rick Roberts, and eventually Mike. Well, no, maybe not Mike Clark. But the nucleus of the Firefall guys were working with Chris Hillman playing his shows, and this was before the Souther Hillman Beret thing.
Yeah.
They were, yeah. I mean, Jock used to talk about being a little bit more country before he joined Firefall.
Mm-hmm.
Then, but there's a whole community of musicians. I have a friend, G. Brown, that works with the Colorado music scene, and he's always adding updates to the website and looking for different people. And you mentioned the Caribou Ranch, for instance. It's a community, and how is it like or different than the LA scene?
Well, it's the LA scene
In the
is
60s, yeah.
it was built within a city, and so the whole thing was kind of together. But up in Colorado, the Caribou Ranch was this big, beautiful spread, and a little. The little towns were separated, and Boulder was just down the hill for. So it was not like the LA area where everything was kind of mushed together. We had the buildings and everything all kind of there, but it was basically though, and it was the same people, and it was nicer countryside, but basically the same people doing the same kind of business.
Okay, but it felt like they were nicer people. I guess probably the outdoors made it better.
Maybe, yeah, maybe, yeah, maybe just the whole getting out of LA was therapeutic. But that alone was therapeutic.
Years were you in Colorado?
Well, I was there 72, probably to 82. I left in 1981 or so, and came to LA and just restarted myself again. I moved back to LA when, I had to start my whole thing again, which is kind of an interesting something that I've been able to do, just start over several times in my life. So that's kind of interesting, I guess.
Join the club.
Yeah, there you go. It's a good talent to have, or a good knack.
You know what? You can't beat luck. You can't beat timing.
Remember the TV show Too Close for Comfort?
That sounds familiar.
Vaguely, I remembered. Who was in that one?
So Ted Knight, but there was an actress named Lydia Cornell, but she was a secretary at the Caribou Ranch for the latter years of the 70s and early 80s. Does that ring a bell? You're smiling.
No,
you know that?
I did not.
Okay.
But I didn't really spend a lot of time working at Caribou. I mean, I did some things, but like the Beach Boys would come in and they'd just take the place over for several months, and then other big groups. My relationship with studios was I was doing sessions, and my groups were working, but Caribou kind of was dominated by the big names, big,
Gotcha.
bigger names.
Chicago
Yeah, exactly.
area.
So when you left Firefall, you hooked up with Hart.
Well, yes, I moved back to California and just kind of plopped down and started to do things. And I was started to work. Actually, was in a great band with Tim Goodman and John McPhee and uh, some really good players. And we played some really good shows and got to get going. Started to really develop, and they what became Southern Pacific. Actually, that was
Oh,
that kind of country rock band.
yeah.
Wow.
And while I was rehearsing, uh, probably for those guys and the other people that I was working with, I saw Howard Leese's Road Case. Of course, Firefall and Heart played shows in Japan. We played in Japan with them, and I knew those guys. I knew the guys in Heart, the gals in Heart, and I saw Howard Leese's Road Case, and I stopped the guy that was rolling it along, and I said, "Hey, is Howard? Do you know Howard? Do you work with Howard?" And he goes, "Yes, I do." And I said, "Well, would you give him a message for me?" And he said he would. And I wrote a little note out to Howard saying, "Hey, Howard, I left Firefall. I'm back in LA. Give me a call sometime." I gave him my phone number, and I didn't hear anything for 2 or 3 months. So I thought, well, okay, I won't be talking to him for. But he called, and out of the blue, in typical Howard Lee, he goes, "Hey, Mark, it's Howie. How would you like to be in Heart?" Real casual like that. And I said, "Hi, Howard. Yes, yeah, I would like to be in Heart." So I met Nancy in a little studio in the Valley, San Fernando Valley, and she had a guitar, a little set up in the little courtyard. Then I brought a little amp, and just the two of us sat down and played together, and we felt kind of cohesive. And they invited me to come up to Ann's place, and I think that's actually, if there was a, a tryout or something, that was probably it. It was just an impromptu jam at I think it was Nancy's house actually in Woodinville, Washington, and we sounded really good. This was before Denny was involved. He was uh, playing in Europe, but yeah, so yeah. By 1982, I was in Heart.
And then your brother joined Hart with you. Is that right?
No, that's no. He stayed with the Jo Jo Gunne guys, and Matt and I teamed up to do some work with Randy California. Randy and Matt really got along well, and on that Farther Along record, Matt is on that record, and John, Randy, and Cass, and that's a Spirit record. Uh, but yeah, so Matt did not.
Oh, he didn't go to Hart. Okay, then I
Yeah.
misread that. And you
Can I backtrack and ask a Jo Jo Gunne question? Are you named after a Chuck Berry song?
Yes,
Oh, wow.
yes.
Is he part of your life and soul in any way? And how he's one of my favorites.
Oh,
And
oh, well, yes, I would say just by the songs that he wrote and the hits and the guitar sounds and stuff. But Jay found that song and thought that it would be good to name the band Jo Jo Gunne. So
there was a band from England with the same name at that time.
I think I do recall that. Yes.
And I was looking it up, and they popped up, and there was like Andy Fairweather Lowe was producing them, and they were doing tours across the states. I'm like, how the hell did that happen?
Yeah.
So I started digging deeper, and it was like there was two bands, and they were both relatively successful with the name Jo Jo, although I never heard of the British one.
Well, yeah, I heard that they existed, but I never saw them play or anything. But that, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, there's a whole big thing. Again, I was prepping to talk to you, so I was, doing some research, and I'm like, I had no clue there was another Jo Jo Gunne. How did that happen?
I
And
know.
then I, of course, it was like, where, where are they all getting this name from? How can they both have the same name? So
Yeah,
I did some digging on that and saw the same thing with Chuck Berry. She did.
yeah, yeah.
Oh. Heart, go heart, go heart, go heart.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm very curious on the Heart stories. I saw that you co-wrote just a slew of the songs that were big hits with Heart while you were there. Um, how did I mean? How did you guys do your writing? I mean, did you everybody get together in a room do writing? How does that happen for you?
Uh, I I usually just come up with musical ideas, and the first "How Can I Refuse" was the song that I was my initial kind of offering to Heart, and um, I and Keith Olsen produced Passion Works was the record that was from, and he really loved the song. So I think the girls, I think he gave them credit, but I think Keith wrote the lyrics as well. But he really liked the song, so he wanted that to be completed. So it would come in fits and starts. The girls would take typically the band, Howie, Denny, and myself would come up with music ideas, tracks, and at sound checks we would uh, play them, just to get our sound together, but
Hmm.
play the ideas that we were working on and record them. And then the good ones we would pass on to the girls, and they would work with Holly Knight or Diane Warren, and
Okay.
they had help with the lyrics.
So you guys would come up with certain sections, and then they would take those sections and then kind of push them together and then lay the lyrics on top.
Yes, well, we would arrange the music so that it kind of flowed, and there was a verse,
Right, right, right.
chorus.
Okay.
So we would arrange the jams so that they were song like, and then the girls would work with the lyricist type people that they really wanted to work with us at that time. So
Well, the songs that I saw that you were listed on were all big, big hits that you had involved in co-writing. And
thanks, yeah,
there was a lot of them.
and yeah, and it was mainly it was the Howie, Denny, and I coming up with those musical ideas, and then they would be passed on to the girls in a very crude demo form, mainly a sound check, and then if the song really started to get going, had some legs, then we would record it in a studio, a demo, a proper demo in the studio
Right.
with a little further, a little more cohesive arrangement that kind of incorporated their ideas. So
Yeah,
that's kind of
the
how,
reason I asked all that, I was only because as a songwriter, I'm always interested in everybody else's process, is
right.
how they go about it. And I, in a similar way, I usually write the music melody before I ever get into the lyrics. But there's quite a few people that do it completely the opposite. They'll start with the lyrics first, and then they'll push the music to it. So I don't know if I'm dyslexic or they're dyslexic, but it's always good to find someone that does it the same way.
Well, you're right, and it's however the inspiration comes out. Anne and I kind of tried to write a song together. It was a came from a song title. Remember that? Guys like me need a girl
You
like.
guys like me, I have the lyrics still.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Oh, we should finish it.
I
That's that's the opening song of my first album.
Guys like me?
That's the first song on my first album. Is called
Oh,
"Guys Like Me."
oh.
Guys like me need a girl like you. That's
Yeah,
Didn't
it's
quite go that
Brad
way, but that
Paisley.
that's
We want
that's the
Brad
title.
Paisley to do it.
That's the title of the song on my first album.
isn't that
So
great?
how does your lyric go?
My oh well, mine's a little bit. It's guys like me are hard to find,
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, guys like you are hard to find.
but it's really it's about a stalker. My song's
Right.
about a stalker, and I make him a Pepe Le Pew type of character, where the girl is Penelope, cat, where she's always like, just get away from me, type of. So, as I
His,
said, I like to inject humor in a lot of everything I
his,
do.
his songwriting is dark and deadly, and the song that we're working, especially, there's two songs that we're working super hard on this album. One is about a UFO, an alien that was left on planet Earth, and he's still waiting for his people to come back for
Uh,
him. But in the meantime, he makes the best of the situation and, helps create the pyramids and the men in black and everything else. The other is Yorick from Shakespeare, the court jester from Hamlet that got his head chopped off.
oh
And
wow.
he gives it a story, a history as to why. And the woman that he was colluding with wasn't all that she claimed to be, the murderer.
The fun stuff for me is once I get my sense of humor going, everything flows.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's some.
Totally. I want to do a thing because I've been watching TV shows, and lately all the shows that I've been watching are villainous women, like Scandal, which is about an incompetent publicist that's working in Washington D.C. and how she redeems herself, quote unquote. And another show that I just watched takes place in Texas. It's the Hunter Wives, which I actually love the show because they're all evil people, and the guys, their husbands all seem like decent human beings, even the guy that's running for governor, although he's NRA. But this is Texas. It takes place in Texas. What TV shows are you guys watching, Mark?
You know, I since I it's hard for me to watch the news these days.
Yeah.
I'm watching a lot of cooking shows.
Mm,
I've watched
food.
cooking shows. I'm not. I don't. I really don't watch many dramas or anything. Occasionally, I'll watch a movie. We'll watch a movie, but yeah, it's funny. And I don't listen to music much.
Wow. But
Isn't I don't. Yeah, I just don't unless I'm playing guitar for my own amusement.
right, right. Tom, what are you watching?
I absorb. I, I'm just absorbing stuff. You know what I just finished watching, which I really liked, was the second season of Wednesday on Netflix,
Is
and
you liked it?
I loved it.
It's
It,
another,
it's really campy to a certain degree, but I totally enjoyed it. I thought season one was very good, but I thought season two was just great.
that's a villainous girl, isn't
She's
she?
she I don't it's Wednesday from the Addams Family. She's very stoic. It's just done so well. I mean, it's nonstop. It's just fantasy enjoyment. But the other one I watched, which is again I liked a lot, but it's the Dexter Resurrection, where Dexter didn't get killed in upstate New York, and he goes into New York City, and um oh,
Uh,
who's the guy from yeah, Game of Thrones. Um,
okay,
he
I don't know.
plays he plays this evil guy that is he's a billionaire, and he's hosting all of these serial killers, and he puts together a serial killer. It's just so over the top, And I just, I just love that watching the Dexter show because you've got the bad guy as the good guy.
There you go.
People coming out in one piece. Tell us about Texas, because I know that you were working in Austin for a while with Alejandro Escovedo.
Yes, I did. And so I moved from Taos, New Mexico
Mm,
during the years that I was playing in Dan's band, and I was living with Eliza Gilkison, and
I
was
love her.
shows with her and playing with Dan. And then we decided to come to Austin just to kind of experience the music scene. God, 25 years ago now or something crazy. But anyway, we came down from New Mexico to Austin, and I just stayed. I fell into a groove. I worked with Alejandro and John D. But I'll tell you the guy that I worked with the most was Ian McLagan. I was in the bump band, and I did like 4 or 5 albums with Ian, and I played with Barbara Kay. So there was the music scene at that time in Austin was very vibrant. A lot of the clubs,
Sixth
uh,
Street.
Sixth Street. Well, yes, Sixth Street was actually still kind of uh, 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 chugging along, but not for much longer. It was already moving to other different areas of Austin.
Like New Orleans is the same way.
Huh?
New Orleans is the same way. It's all moved.
Moves, yes. So and so I kind of did my time in Austin and played with like those people, and I was just kind of had run its course, and I was ready to leave, and then I reconnected with my now wife, who I met in the '80s when I was in Heart, and she had worked with the Raiders in their legal department and had come to Houston to work for HP in their legal department. And so we fell in love, and I wound up here in Magnolia. And it's just kind of like, I don't know, I don't have a plan to leave quite for now, for the time being.
Where's Magnolia in Texas?
It's just slightly north and west of, it's just pretty much west of the Woodlands,
Oh,
uh,
okay. Okay, so I know where you are.
north Houston.
North Houston.
Mhm.
And the Woodlands is gorgeous over there.
Yes.
I've
So
traveled every state probably, or every major city.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, so
You have, yeah, you have animals and you have your own studio.
I
Mhm.
I, I kind of have I have a workspace, and we've got 5 horses. We've got 2 dogs, a Great Dane and a poodle, and they have one cat that's at the end of life stage of the cat. So working on its ninth lifetime, I guess.
I hear you.
You know, but we have
Yeah.
animals.
What a great place down North Houston is. I know a lot of people that have moved down to that area. It's a great little place.
Yes, I like it. Yes, and we're secluded. We have uh, like 15 acres, and there's a pond, and it's quite secluded. So it's that I like about it, especially since I'm here in Texas, and that's odd right from the get go. So I like the seclusion. Believe me.
I bet, yeah, it's probably super needed. I mean, nowadays, not just with having working from home or having a computer and things like that, I think one of the predictors of culture for the future, Faith Popcorn used to say, everybody's going to be cocooning, and that could be in a small area as well as a wide yard, having a big yard with just the people that you care about.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's kind of what I'm doing, and uh, just the responsibility of all of that animalness is really keeps me busy, to be honest. And I enjoy the distraction. It's very, very nice.
I agree. I totally agree. I've got cats and I'm in the city. I got 4 cats. So it's not a ton of animals, but I work from home. So they're here with me and I can get up whenever I want or go to bed and they're there or whatever. And then just bring out the litter a couple days a week.
Yep, yep.
So not that hard.
I did love the interview you did with Ian Anderson, where Ian Anderson talked for 45 minutes on cats. I thought that was absolutely great. It was a side of him I never expected.
Like
Separate.
gas, digestive gas, or the gas for your car.
I said, cats, right?
Oh,
Ian,
Cats.
I thought you said gas.
he talked about Ian Anderson, right, from
Right.
Jethro Tull.
About cat.
Waffle on gas,
Apparently,
any kind of
he's
gas you want as
he's
well.
really, really into cats. And so
Yeah.
he talked for a half hour, and it started, with adopting cats when he was young, all the way going up to the guys in Vegas there with the white tigers, and it was quite a fascinating conversation.
So okay, so I'm going to talk about myself for a minute, and that is to say that this interview with Ian came about because I work with a couple of classic rock artists that have done some amazing things with cats through the years. And I'm doing a speech online Thanksgiving weekend 2025 for a German college on a cats and music summit. And they're going to be going all the way from the Kiffness to the Middle Ages and the cat and the fiddle, you name it. And my whole submission was accepted about artists that I work with that have done nice things to rescue animals.
Uh,
Pretty soon I'll be interviewing Annie Haslam. I'll probably just talk about the work that Grand Funk Railroad has done. And now I'm on, in addition to doing this interview show, I'm also doing loose interviews with anybody in the classic rock community. And it could be a music publicist, it could be a record producer, or it could be someone that, like Ted Pulley, I plan to interview him soon. It will be on cats and music and how they've helped cats along the way. But they had to have helped cats. It's not just if someone's a cat fan. Have they done any workshops on cats? Have they done any benefits? I'm planning a guy named Jonathan that played with Edgar or Johnny Winter soon. Johnny, he played with Johnny. And he's helped a lot of folks in Woodstock area of New York. So yeah. So
good,
that's a plug for my work.
good for you. Yeah, good, good, good.
It's just such a cool little niche. It's like music, performers, and their pets. And not
Yeah.
just their pets, their cats.
I love that.
Thank you. It's fun. So, but I'm really thankful to you, and it I do want to find out, is your collaboration with Ian McLagan out on, can I hear it if I Google it or anything like that?
I bet you can. I don't recall. Of course, I never made a dime off of anything, so I don't know that anything has sold. But yes, they were actually uh, albums that were pressed and stuff. So I'm assuming that they're out there to be found.
Right.
I haven't seen one in many years, but there was, I think, 4 album records that we did with him.
I will find it. I know that as a wannabe songwriter that's worked with a lot of independent artists, it's really hard to make money off of music unless miracles happen and you have a manager or a record label that's going to uh, give nice accounting, you know.
Yeah,
So it's hard. I think you make more money from a live show or if
Live
you
show.
sell t-shirts.
Exactly. Well, that's the truth. I wound up kind of using the recorded music as kind of something that we could promote to enhance the gigs, and then promote, and you get into a thing where one enhances the other. So the shows enhance the record sales enhance the live shows. So you get into a positive
Yeah.
side, hopefully, and that's kind of what I was hoping would happen with any band that I was in. We get into that cycle.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
Well,
I've got so many albums where you played bass on them. It's amazing. I still have them in here. And were you on the Jo Jo Gunne reunion album that they put together with the I don't know, I think you started in '92 and they actually finished it in 2005, Toe Chain or something like that? Did
I
were you
we did a yes, we did a reunion, but it was just a quick uh
Oh, I got the CD.
oh yes, so it didn't take that long to do it, but it started with a actually the guitar play. Well, yes, but we wound up actually doing it in at Jay's studio. So yes,
Because I didn't realize it at first, and I'm like, these are different recordings of the same songs.
correct.
It's
Yes,
a different, run, run, runs on there,
yeah,
but it's a different version.
yeah. That's me.
I did like all that stuff. I'm telling you, I was a huge fan of Jo Jo Gunne, and I loved Run, Run, Run. I thought it was a very cool song at the time. That little slide guitar part that was in there, I thought was very creative.
Yeah, thanks. So I'll tell Matt. He'll love it.
You guys are friends or now, quote unquote, brother friends.
Yeah, yeah. It's yes, we are now. Of course, we've had our uh, process, but yeah, we're friends now. We stay in touch.
Cool. Yeah. No, I think that that happens as we change. So,
Yeah,
any advice you have on because we thought about this earlier with Randy California and things like if I was looking back on that now and the process with your brother Matt, any advice here?
well, I think that just communication is the big advice that I have is to not be afraid to really open up and communicate if you really want to resolve anything or to get a better understanding. But it was hard, when your brother fires you from your own band, the band that it was crazy stuff like that. It took a
Yeah.
while. It took a decade for me to kind of warm back up to him after that. So it takes time sometimes to repair the damage that we do to each other.
There does seem to be a lot of brother, infighting in bands in the rock and roll world, from the Davies and the Kinks to our Oasis buddies all the way through. That
Yeah.
seems to be a running theme.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that communication, that's for sure.
Yeah. That's important.
Cool. Anything you want to add? Anything that we didn't cover that we should have?
Oh, no, I thought this has been really wonderful, you guys. I appreciate it. And Tom, I'm looking forward to hearing your music, bro.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, listen, this is my late in life, turn. I I like you spent 40 years going back and forth to Japan. So when you said you went to Japan, I was like, you have no idea how much time I've spent in Japan. And boy, what a rock and roll world Japan is. People don't realize it, but that whole place is their music crazy over there. Uh, and of course, I always would kid him and ask him questions like, "So, what do you really think of Yoko Ono?" And that would stump him. But uh,
I'm thankful for her. I just want to go on record. Keep
well,
going.
but no, but you know, once I decided to leave my business life behind, I went full bore into the music world, and it's an album a year is my goal, and I've been doing it, so
Good for you. Good for you.
a lot
Wow.
of fun. It listen, you know, I think right now it's very difficult if you're like 18, 19, 20 years old and you want to go out and play music professionally. The
Yeah.
way that it's set up, it's very difficult for those guys to make money. So, you know, I don't know if it was any easier when you were starting, but it's really difficult now. So it, you know, depends on what end of the spectrum you're on. I'm on the older end of the spectrum, so you know, it's easier for me to go out and do it, but I can't imagine being 20 to 25 years old and saying that's what I'm going to do full time.
Well, they get into a van and they play shows, and they'll make a CD in somebody's house. They'll sell the CDs.
Oh, it's all merch sales and couch surfing.
It's just exactly, and it's just the music business only scrunched down to that reality, and eventually, if they're good enough and dedicated enough, they'll get a break, and something can happen. And but things like radio airplay and stuff that's almost it doesn't. I mean, it almost doesn't really
No, it
happen.
disappeared. It disappeared. And what happened, at least my take on it, is like Spotify playlists
Hmm.
are
They're
the de facto radio of today.
basically, yeah, that's right. So
Oh,
yeah, I think we've covered it really good. It's so good to talk with you, Ann. It's been so long. It's good.
I
Oh man,
know. I know. I'm very thankful and I'm ecstatic for just to connect with you
Yeah, thanks.
again.
and we're looking forward to this run documentary. I mean, that should be awesome.
It should be good. Yeah, I've got was Dr. Demento came in, Barry came in, and uh, Timothy Schmidt is on there, and
You know, you would think that somebody like Netflix would be very, very interested in that.
well, from your lips
Really.
to God's ears.
I think a lot of these shows or PBS, a lot of these shows just have to basically I think the way PBS and Netflix and a lot of these places are run now is people have to finish the project and make it available because there's little funds available to produce
Right.
Oh, but
projects.
they do have a lot of rock documentaries that they've been adding in both on Prime and on Netflix. There's a lot of them there, and they're you know really very fascinating to watch. You know,
Well, I hope that we can get it. My thing is wrapped up here soon, and now I'm Nelson Duffel is the producer of it, so I don't know. I'm kind of waiting for him to get it together.
oh man, that should be fantastic. Well, as I said, we went through it. Your story is just like really, really amazing.
Thanks, man. Well, I survived it. So
That's that's the right ending to this. I survived it all.
There we go. I'm gonna turn off the recording and thank you so much, both of you, for
uh,
doing this.
all right, Ann. Well, it's nice to see you guys. Tom,